My friends, today I want to speak to you about a powerful, often misunderstood reality, why the chosen ones, the leaders, the visionaries, the ones set apart, can find themselves lonely or even broken. It's a journey that many of us will face at some point or another. And it's one we must understand to truly navigate with strength and purpose. There are times when you feel set apart from the world. A distance grows between you and those around you. You see things others don't. You sense things others can't. And with that comes a weight, sometimes a weight so heavy it feels like it's too much to bear. It is in these moments that the chosen ones often feel a sense of isolation. The chosen path is one that many do not understand. It is a journey that often separates those who walk it from the rest of the world. At the beginning, it can feel like a quiet and isolating road, one that requires sacrifices and decisions that others may not be willing to make. The chosen ones often feel the weight of their vision and mission, but they are often burdened by the fact that no one else seems to see or understand why they are walking the path they are. There are moments when the road seems endless, the world around them oblivious to the struggles and burdens they carry. The chosen ones may find themselves surrounded by people who simply don't get it or who try to pull away from their purpose. Their dreams are too big for some to grasp, and the struggles are too profound for others to comprehend. The journey feels heavy because it demands something different from those who are called to it. Loneliness comes not just from being physically alone, but from feeling like no one can walk alongside you in your understanding, in your struggles, or in your triumphs. You begin to realize that the path you are on requires a type of focus, commitment, and sacrifice that leaves little room for the distractions of the world. Friends, family, and colleagues may never fully understand the passion that drives you. In these moments, the chosen ones might question whether they made the right decision. They wonder why the road has to be so lonely, why their purpose feels so isolating. They might even wonder if they are truly meant to walk it at all. But it is in these very moments of solitude that clarity and strength are sowed. The loneliness is not a sign of abandonment, it is a necessary part of the journey. The isolation is a refining process that helps the chosen ones become who they are meant to be, to develop the resilience they need to fulfill their calling. The chosen ones are not meant to fit in with the crowd. They are meant to rise above it, to step out of their comfort zones, and to walk a path that others may not understand. And though it may be lonely, it is this very loneliness that sharpens their focus, strengthens their resolve, and gives them the clarity to continue. The isolation is a marker of a higher calling. Isolation can feel overwhelming, especially when you are called to a purpose that requires you to walk alone. The world around you moves at a different pace with different priorities, while you are driven by something deeper, something that demands more from you. In these moments, you may feel as though you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, yet you have no one to share that burden with. The feeling of isolation goes beyond physical separation. It's the sense of being disconnected emotionally, mentally, and spiritually from those around you. People may try to comfort you or offer advice, but deep down, you know they don't fully understand what you're going through. They can't feel the inner turmoil, the questions, and the uncertainties that constantly swirl in your mind. There's a kind of quiet agony that comes with being misunderstood. This isolation often comes with a deep sense of responsibility because as the chosen one, you know your path requires something more, something others might not be willing to give. And yet the loneliness can feel like an insurmountable obstacle. You begin to wonder if you're walking the right path, you've made the right sacrifices, if the calling you've chosen is truly worth the price of being so isolated. There are times when the silence around you grows deafening, when you long for connection, for someone who truly gets it, for a kindred spirit to share your journey. But in those moments of silence, it is easy to feel like no one can relate to your experience. No one truly understands what you're facing. The feelings of overwhelm intensify, and the emotional distance from others only amplifies the sense of being trapped in your own mind. What makes this isolation even more overwhelming is the inner conflict it breeds. There's a part of you that knows this loneliness is temporary, that the journey will eventually lead to something greater. But there's another part of you that struggles to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's easy to question whether this loneliness will ever end, or if it will consume you before your purpose is fulfilled. And in those moments, it feels like the weight is too much to bear. But this overwhelming isolation is also a space for growth. It is in these times that the chosen ones are refined, strengthened, and prepared for the magnitude of their purpose. Even though the loneliness feels unbearable, it becomes the very place where inner strength is developed and where clarity of purpose is forged. Though it may be overwhelming, it is a crucible that shapes you into the person you are meant to become. Purpose in pain is one of the most profound truths that the chosen ones must come to understand. Pain is often seen as something to avoid, something negative, something that signifies failure or misfortune. But for those walking the path of greatness, pain is not an enemy to be feared. It is a necessary part of the process, a tool used to shape and mold the character, resilience, and strength required for the mission ahead. When you are called to a higher purpose, you will inevitably face challenges, setbacks, and even suffering. This pain is not without meaning. It is a refining fire that burns away the excess, the weakness, the distractions, and the doubt. Through pain, you are tested. You are pushed beyond your limits, forced to confront your own vulnerabilities, insecurities, and fears. But in these moments of struggle, something extraordinary happens. You are forged into a stronger version of yourself. Think about the greatest leaders, visionaries, and change makers throughout history. None of them reached their pinnacle without enduring hardship. They faced setbacks, criticism, rejection, and often deep personal suffering. But each challenge was not a roadblock, it was a stepping stone. Through the pain they grew. They learned what they were truly made of. They became resilient in the face of adversity. And they found purpose in the very pain that tried to break them. The chosen ones are not immune to suffering. In fact, they may experience it more acutely than most, because their purpose demands a level of sacrifice that others may not be asked to make. But this pain is not meaningless. It serves a higher purpose. It strengthens the chosen one's resolve, sharpens their focus, and deepens their empathy and understanding. It helps them develop the compassion and wisdom necessary to lead others through their own struggles. Purpose in pain also means understanding that every difficulty you face has the potential to teach you something valuable. Each setback, every moment of heartbreak, every failure is a lesson in resilience, patience, and perseverance. The pain forces you to grow in ways that comfort and ease never could. It gives you the emotional, mental, and spiritual depth needed to carry the weight of your calling. When the pain feels unbearable, remember that it is part of the journey. It is shaping you into the person you need to be. It is deepening your character, preparing you for the heights you are destined to reach. Without this pain, you would not have the strength, the wisdom, or the compassion required to fulfill your purpose. The very pain that threatens to break you is the catalyst that will ultimately build you into the person capable of achieving the greatness you were born for. Sacrifice is an undeniable and essential part of the journey for the chosen ones. When you are called to a higher purpose, the road ahead is not paved with ease or comfort. It is paved with the requirement of giving up things that others may cling to, things that might seem ordinary or even desirable, but which stand in the way of the greatness you are meant to achieve. At the heart of sacrifice is the idea that you must give up something of value in exchange for something greater. For the chosen ones, this often means laying down personal desires, comforts, and even relationships to fully commit to the mission ahead. Sacrifice is not just about giving up material possessions, about surrendering parts of yourself, the things that would distract you or pull you away from your calling. The journey is marked by the decision to forego what might seem immediately satisfying in order to pursue a purpose that will have a lasting impact. Whether it's time, energy, or emotional investment, the chosen ones are asked to give beyond what feels comfortable. Sometimes it means sacrificing moments of rest, personal enjoyment, or security, knowing that the road ahead demands your full commitment. But the sacrifices, though difficult, are necessary for growth. When you choose a path of greatness, you may have to give up things that others may take for granted, like stability or social approval. You might find yourself having to say no to certain relationships or opportunities that seem appealing, but ultimately do not align with the vision you are called to fulfill. These sacrifices can be deeply painful, as they challenge your attachment to the things of the world, forcing you to realign your priorities and values. However, what many fail to realize is that sacrifice is not just about loss. It is about making room for something greater. Each sacrifice you make clears the path, removing distractions and creating space for the true calling to take root. By choosing to give up what is lesser, you make room for the extraordinary. This is the paradox of sacrifice. In giving up, you gain. In losing, you ultimately find what is truly meaningful. The sacrifices are not always easy to understand in the moment. There will be times when you will question why you must give up so much. You may feel the weight of your decisions, the loneliness that comes with walking a road that others cannot understand. But know that every sacrifice is a seed planted for the future, a step toward the fulfillment of your higher purpose. The more you sacrifice, the more you become prepared for what lies ahead, the very greatness that you were meant to achieve. Sacrifice also deepens the character of the chosen ones. It teaches humility, patience, and the ability to endure hardship for the sake of a greater good. It strengthens your resilience, teaching you that your true strength comes not from what you hold on to, but from what you are willing to let go of in order to pursue your purpose. Through sacrifice, the chosen ones discover a deeper meaning in their journey, realizing that it's not just about what they achieve, but about the transformation they undergo in the process. Every sacrifice you make is not a loss, but a victory, a declaration that you are willing to give up the temporary for the eternal. It is the price of greatness. The weight of responsibility is one of the heaviest burdens that the chosen ones must carry. It is the understanding that the journey ahead is not just about personal gain or achievement, it is about something far greater. It is about serving a higher purpose, one that requires you to lead, to guide, and to carry the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of others. When you are called to a higher mission, you realize that your actions, decisions, and sacrifices don't just affect you, they have a ripple effect that touches the lives of those around you. The responsibility of leadership, of vision, of purpose can often feel overwhelming as it demands more than you thought you could dance. It asks you to rise above your own limitations, fears, and desires to become a steward of something far larger than yourself. This weight is often felt most acutely in the quiet moments of reflection, when the reality of what you are carrying hits you. The choices you make aren't just for your own benefit, they affect families, communities, and even generations to come. You begin to understand that your success is not just about your personal growth. It is about how you impact the world around you, how you shape the future with every decision you make. The responsibility of being chosen is not an easy one. There are no shortcuts. There are no guarantees that the path will be smooth. In fact, you may face setbacks, ridicule, and doubts along the way. But the weight of responsibility demands that you keep moving forward, that you remain steadfast in your commitment, because you know that your calling is bigger than any obstacle you may face. It is in moments of quiet reflection that the magnitude of this responsibility can feel crushing. You may question if you're truly capable of handling it, if you're strong enough to carry the weight of so many expectations, whether your vision is worthy of the sacrifice. But in those very moments of doubt, you are being tested. The weight of responsibility isn't just a burden. It is a refining process, shaping you into the person you need to be in order to fulfill your calling. The chosen ones must learn how to carry this responsibility with grace and wisdom. It's not about boasting or seeking validation. It's about serving with humility and understanding that your strength lies not in your ability to bear the weight alone, but in your capacity to keep moving forward despite it. The weight of responsibility is heavy, yes, but it is also a privilege, a sign that you have been entrusted with something greater than yourself. This responsibility calls for sacrifice and unwavering commitment. It asks you to put the needs of others above your own desires and comfort. It asks you to lead even when the way is unclear or when others doubt your ability. But it also gives you the opportunity to make a difference, to leave a legacy that transcends your own life. Carrying the weight of responsibility requires great courage. It means stepping into the unknown, trusting that every decision you make, every step you take, is part of a greater plan. While the burden may sometimes feel heavy, it is through this very weight that the chosen ones find their true purpose and strength. The responsibility may feel overwhelming at times, but it is this weight that builds the foundation for a life of extraordinary impact. Brokenness is not defeat. It is a chapter in the journey that many of the chosen ones will experience along the way. In fact, brokenness can be one of the most transformative experiences of all. When life brings us to our knees, when we feel shattered, lost, and beyond repair, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that we have failed. We may think that our brokenness is a sign of weakness, or that we are somehow unworthy of the calling we carry. But brokenness, my friends, is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a deeper understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. Every person who is chosen for greatness will at some point face moments of vulnerability. They will experience times when everything seems to fall apart: the plans, the dreams, the very foundation they have built their lives upon. In these moments, it can feel as though the world has crumbled around them. It's easy to believe that being broken means we are no longer whole, no longer capable of fulfilling the purpose we have been given. But the truth is, brokenness is not about losing your worth. It is about being refined, reshaped, and remade into something stronger and more resilient and more purposeful. When the chosen ones are broken, they often go through a process of self-discovery and healing. The cracks in their lives become the places where growth happens. It is in the brokenness that we confront our fears, our limitations, and our vulnerabilities. It is in these moments that we begin to understand our true strength, not as a result of being perfect or unscathed, but because we continue to rise despite our struggles. In fact, it is through brokenness that the chosen ones often develop the wisdom, compassion, and empathy necessary to lead others. When we have been broken, we understand what it feels like to suffer, to be defeated, and to struggle. And it is this experience that allows us to truly relate to others who are going through similar hardships. We are better equipped to guide them, to walk alongside them, because we have lived through our own pain and come out the other side. Moreover, brokenness teaches humility. When everything is going well, it can be easy to become prideful or self-sufficient. But when we are broken, we are reminded that we are not invincible. We are reminded that we need help, that we must lean on others and on our faith. It is in the brokenness that we learn to rely on something greater than ourselves. What makes brokenness so powerful is that it is never a permanent state. It is temporary, a necessary part of the process. You may feel broken today, but that does not mean you will remain broken forever. Every moment of pain, every crack in your heart, every setback you face is part of a larger story, a story that will ultimately see you rise stronger, wiser, and more capable of fulfilling your purpose. Brokenness is not a reflection of your failure. It is a sign that you are being shaped, that you are being prepared for something greater. When you are broken, you are being broken open to new possibilities, new growth, and new strength. And though it may seem unbearable in the moment, remember that it is in the process of being mended that you will find your true resilience and power. The beauty of brokenness is that it does not define you. What defines you is how you rise from it, how you stand up again. Our strength through struggle is one of the most powerful truths that the chosen ones must come to understand. In life, we are often told that strength comes from victory, from success, from moments when everything is going right. But the reality is that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. It is the struggle, the challenges, and the obstacles that shape us into the person we are meant to become. It is through the hardest moments that we discover what we are truly made of. When we face difficulty, when the road ahead seems impassable, it's easy to feel like we are being tested beyond our capacity. The burden feels too heavy, the pain too great, and the path too long. In these moments, it can seem like the struggle is the very thing that will break us. But this is a misconception. It is not the struggle itself that determines our outcome. It is how we respond to it. Strength is not about avoiding struggle. It's about learning how to endure it, how to grow through it, and how to emerge from it stronger and more resilient than before. The chosen ones are often called to face great challenges because it is through overcoming them that they develop the strength necessary to fulfill their purpose. Each struggle, each setback is an opportunity to grow, to build resilience, and to prepare for the even greater tasks that lie ahead. Think of the strongest people you know. Their strength wasn't handed to them, it was earned through years of facing adversity, of confronting challenges that pushed them to their limits. They didn't emerge from their struggles unscathed, but they emerged with greater wisdom, greater character, and greater resolve. Their strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from learning how to thrive in spite of it. Struggle forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we often try to avoid, the insecurities, the doubts, the weaknesses. In the heat of the battle, we have no choice but to face these parts of ourselves head on. This confrontation may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. The struggle strips us down to our core, revealing what we are made of and forcing us to rebuild, to evolve. Each time we overcome a challenge, we grow stronger, more capable, more prepared for the next one. Furthermore, struggle teaches us perseverance. It teaches us that success is not always immediate and that progress often comes in fits and starts. There will be times when the struggle feels like it's too much to bear, but it is in those moments that we must press on. It is through persistence that we develop the strength to face even greater challenges in the future. The power of struggle also lies in its ability to build empathy and humility. When we endure hardship, we gain a deeper understanding of the pain and suffering that others may go through. We become more compassionate, more patient, and more willing to support others in their own struggles. We realize that we are not alone in our pain, and that through struggle, we become better equipped to lift others up. The most profound strength is born out of struggle. It's not the kind of strength that is visible on the surface, but the kind that comes from deep within, from the soul. It is the strength that emerges when you decide to keep going even when everything inside you tells you to give up. It is the strength that is refined in the fire of adversity, and it is the strength that will carry you through the trials of your journey. So when you face struggle, remember this: it is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that you are growing, that you are becoming stronger, and that you are moving closer to fulfilling the purpose you were created for. Strength through struggle is not about avoiding the pain. It is about using the pain as a tool to shape and strengthen you, to build the resilience necessary to fulfill your calling and achieve your destiny. You rebuild how you move forward. Brokenness is not defeat. It is a turning point, a step in your journey that will ultimately make you stronger, more whole, and more prepared for the greatness you are destined to achieve. Strength through struggle is one of the most powerful truths that the chosen ones must come to understand. In life, we are often told that strength comes from victory, from success, from moments when everything is going right. But the reality is that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. It is the struggle, the challenges, and the obstacles that shape us into the person we are meant to become. It is through the hardest moments that we discover what we are truly made of. When we face difficulty, when the road ahead seems impassable, it's easy to feel like we are being tested beyond our capacity. The burden feels too heavy, the pain too great, and the path too long. In these moments, it can seem like the struggle is the very thing that will break us. But this is a misconception. It is not the struggle itself that determines our outcome. It is how we respond to it. Strength is not about avoiding struggle. It's about learning how to endure it, how to grow through it, and how to emerge from it stronger and more resilient than before. The chosen ones are often called to face great challenges because it is through overcoming them that they develop the strength necessary to fulfill their purpose. Each struggle, each setback is an opportunity to grow, to build resilience, and to prepare for the even greater tasks that lie ahead. Think of the strongest people you know. Their strength wasn't handed to them, it was earned through years of facing adversity, of confronting challenges that pushed them to their limits. They didn't emerge from their struggles unscathed, but they emerged with greater wisdom, greater character, and greater resolve. Their strength comes not from avoiding pain, but from learning how to thrive in spite of it. Struggle forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we often try to avoid, the insecurities, the doubts, the weaknesses. In the heat of the battle, we have no choice but to face these parts of ourselves head on. This confrontation may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. The struggle strips us down to our core, revealing what we are made of and forcing us to rebuild, to evolve. Each time we overcome a challenge, we grow stronger, more capable, more prepared for the next one. Furthermore, struggle teaches us perseverance. It teaches us that success is not always immediate and that progress often comes in fits and starts. There will be times when the struggle feels like it's too much to bear, but it is in those moments that we must press on. It is through persistence that we develop the strength to face even greater challenges in the future. The power of struggle also lies in its ability to build empathy and humility. When we endure hardship, we gain a deeper understanding of the pain and suffering that others may go through. We become more compassionate, more patient, and more willing to support others in their own struggles. We realize that we are not alone in our pain and that through struggle, we become better equipped to lift others up. The most profound strength is born out of struggle. It's not the kind of strength that is visible on the surface, but the kind that comes from deep within, from the soul. It is the strength that emerges when you decide to keep going, even when everything inside you tells you to give up. It is the strength that is refined in the fire of adversity. And it is the strength that will carry you through the trials of your journey. So when you face struggle, remember this, it is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that you are growing, that you are becoming stronger, and that you are moving closer to fulfilling the purpose you were curious. Strength through struggle is not about avoiding the pain, it is about using the pain as a tool to shape and strengthen you, to build the resilience necessary to fulfill your calling and achieve your destiny. The chosen must persevere, for the path they walk is not an easy one. It is a road filled with obstacles, setbacks, doubts, and moments when everything seems to be working against them. Perseverance is the cornerstone of their journey, because without it, they would not be able to reach the heights they are destined for. It is not enough to be chosen for greatness. One must have the strength to endure the challenges that inevitably arise along the way. Perseverance is about more than just pushing through difficult moments. It is about maintaining your focus, commitment, and determination in the face of adversity. The chosen ones know that the journey will not always be smooth. There will be times when the road is unclear, when the path seems to disappear into the fog of uncertainty. In these moments, it is easy to lose hope, to feel like giving up. But perseverance demands that you keep going even when the future seems uncertain, even when the end of the road is out of sight. The chosen must persevere because their calling is greater than any momentary struggle. They are driven by a vision that compels them to continue, even when the world around them is trying to pull them in a different direction. They must hold fast to the belief that their purpose is worth the sacrifice, that the pain they experience along the way is part of the process that will eventually lead to their success. Perseverance is also about resilience, the ability to bounce back when life knocks you down. It's about understanding that failure is not the end of the road, but merely a deal. The chosen ones face setbacks, but they do not let them define them. They understand that every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. They know that the road to greatness is paved with challenges, and they embrace those challenges with a mindset of perseverance. In addition to resilience, perseverance requires unwavering faith. The chosen must believe, even when there is no visible evidence of progress. They must trust that every step they take, no matter how small, is bringing them closer to their purpose. In moments of doubt, when everything feels like it is falling apart, perseverance keeps the chosen moving forward. It is the belief that something greater is at work, that even in the darkest times, there is a light guiding them toward their destiny. Perseverance also requires patience. The chosen must be willing to endure the long periods of waiting, of working without immediate results, of putting in the effort without seeing the fruit of their labor. Success does not come overnight, and the chosen ones know this. They are willing to stay the course even when the rewards seem distant. They understand that every small effort, every seemingly insignificant step is a necessary part of the process. The chosen must also persevere because their journey is not only about them, it is about the people they are meant to impact. Their perseverance has the power to inspire others to keep going, to show those around them that it is possible to overcome obstacles, to rise above challenges, and to fulfill one's purpose despite the difficulties. The chosen must press on, not just for themselves, but for the lives they are meant to touch and the legacy they are meant to leave behind. In the end, it is perseverance that separates those who are called from those who give up. The chosen ones may face moments of doubt, of pain, and of exhaustion, but they know that their purpose is worth the struggle. They push through when others would quit because they understand that greatness is not just about talent, but about the ability to persevere through the hardest moments. The chosen must persevere because they are not walking this journey alone. They are walking with a purpose, with a mission, with a vision that will impact the world in ways they cannot yet fully comprehend. They will endure, they will fight, and they will rise above the challenges they face. For it is through perseverance that they will fulfill their destiny and inspire others to do the same. Trusting the process is one of the most powerful yet challenging principles that the chosen ones must embrace. In the face of uncertain doubt and adversity, it can be incredibly difficult to believe that the journey is leading us to where we are meant to go. We live in a world that demands instant results, immediate gratification, and visible success. But the path of greatness is not one of shortcuts. It is a slow, often unseen process that requires faith, patience, and perseverance. Trusting the process means understanding that there is a larger plan at work, even when the steps ahead are unclear. The chosen ones often walk a path that doesn't have a map or a clear timeline. They may not always see immediate progress or results, and the road may seem long and winding. But trusting the process requires them to have faith that every step they take is moving them closer to their purpose, even if they cannot yet see how the pieces fit together. The process of becoming who you are meant to be is not always a straight line. There will be setbacks, detours, and times when it feels like you're not moving forward at all. In these moments, doubt can creep in, and it can be easy to question whether the path is right, whether the effort is worth it. But it is in these times of uncertainty that the chosen must trust the process the most. They must trust that every experience, every success, every failure, every struggle is a necessary part of their transformation. Each challenge, each obstacle is shaping them into the person they are meant to become. Trusting the process also means letting go of the need to control every aspect of the journey. The chosen ones often feel a deep sense of responsibility to make things happen, to push harder, to do more. But sometimes the most powerful thing they can do is to surrender to the process, to trust that what needs to unfold will do so in its own time. This is not about passivity or inaction. It's about understanding that some things are beyond our control and that trying to force them will only lead to frustration and burnout. Trusting the process is about allowing life to unfold with patience and grace, knowing that there is wisdom in the timing of things. Furthermore, trusting the process requires a deep belief in one's own purpose and abilities. It is about trusting that you are being prepared for something greater, even when the road feels hard and the rewards seem far off. It is about believing that every moment of discomfort, every moment of struggle, is leading you to a place where you will be fully equipped to fulfill your mission. The process may not always be easy, but it is always necessary. The lessons learned along the way are what will equip you for the greater purpose that lies ahead. Sometimes trusting the process also means being patient with others. Not everyone will understand your journey, and not everyone will see the steps you're taking as valuable or necessary. You may face criticism, doubt, or even rejection from others who do not see the bigger picture. But when you trust the process, you realize that their lack of understanding is not your burden to carry. You are walking your own path, one that is uniquely yours. The process will unfold in ways that others may not see or appreciate, but that doesn't diminish its importance. Ultimately, the process is about growth. It is about understanding that the chosen ones are not simply seeking an outcome, they are becoming who they were always meant to be. The process refines them, strengthens them, and prepares them for the greatness they are destined for. Without the process, there would be no transformation, no development, no true fulfillment of their purpose. Trusting the process means trusting in your own journey, even when it feels slow, even when it feels uncertain, even when it feels like you are going in circles. It means having the faith to keep moving forward, knowing that the road you're on is leading you exactly where you need to go. And in the end, when you look back at all that you have been through, you will realize that every step, every challenge, and every moment of waiting was part of a beautiful, unfolding story, the story of your life, your purpose, and your greatness.